Hey guys, welcome to Carnivorous Plants Hub. Today I'm going to be bringing you an update on my Spectabilis Veitchii and then my Spectabilis Platychila. It's been a little while. I think it's been like 6 months or so since I've brought you an update on these guys, so I figured it was about time. But the main reason that I'm doing this is I'm also going to be repotting them into some bigger planters. So what we're going to be doing today is giving you a quick update on these two Nepenthes plants, and then also repotting these Nepenthes into some bigger pots over here, because they're definitely, as you can see, they're starting to totally outgrow the little pots that they're in. So we're going to be moving them over. You can see I got my my sphagnum moss over here, and I do have some pea perlite mix in the bottom of these to give them some weight. And also just to fill the bottom a little bit, because the roots won't go down that deep, at least not yet. It's just kind of a more affordable way, I guess, filling your pot up. And these pots are a little bit bigger than probably what I needed, but they'll have a lot of room to grow in these, and then they'll also have the pea perlite in the bottom, but then the roots will be wrapped up in the sphagnum moss mix. And I like doing that because it gives the pot some weight, and it makes it a lot less expensive to fill these pots up, rather than trying to fill this entire pot up with the sphagnum moss mix, which gets a little pricey. So it's just kind of more of an affordable way to do it. But yeah, we're going to let's go ahead and take a look at these plants here real quick. But real quick, guys, before I dive into the plants, while we're kind of taking a look at them here, I just wanted to thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. I'm trying hard to work on these carnivorous plants and learn about them so that I can open up my own carnivorous plant nursery someday. And you being here is supporting that dream, and I appreciate it so much. So thank you so much for being here. I'm learning a lot about Nepenthes on this journey. So these plants are really cool and they're really fun. But make sure to subscribe to my channel, like this video, share it, comment. All that stuff really helps me a lot. And you can continue to see updates on these plants and see how they grow and see how they do. But yeah, thanks a lot for being here. Let's go ahead and take a look at let's start with the Spectabilis Veitchii here. So I'm going to turn it like this a little bit so you can see it in the light a little better, so you can see what its pitchers look like. This one has kind of more of round pitchers, like almost pear-shaped. You can see it, they're not just kind of straight up and down. They're actually kind of thicker pitchers. They're really cool shaped. I really like them. But yeah, you can see it's doing really well. These plants don't grow as quick as like a Nepenthes ventrata, so it requires a lot more patience. These pitchers should get pretty big as time goes on, so I'm just trying really hard to be patient. Let's get a little bit closer to that for you there, so you can take a look at these pitchers here. You can see the new growth coming out the top. It's still pretty healthy. It did have one leaf that didn't produce a pitcher, which was like 2 leaves ago, so I'm not really sure what happened with that one. But this new one does look like it's going to produce a pitcher. It looks like it's a little healthier than that last one was, so not sure what happened there. But this one has done a pretty good job of producing pitchers pretty consistently. It's a really beautiful plant. And then I have the Nepenthes Platychila here. This one actually has a brand new pitcher coming in right there. This one, the pitchers are a little more up and down. They're not quite as kind of thick and wide as the other one, but this one has the spots on it are a lot darker. I'll bring it over here so you can see to the light. You can see the spots on there are a lot darker on the Platychila than they are on the Veitchii. At first they actually looked really similar, almost like the same pitchers as they were kind of young and growing. But now, as they're getting a little bit older, you can see that they're quite a bit different. You can see the green around the top. And these ones still have the hairs on them because they're the younger pitchers. So this is still a very young plant. It's not mature yet. These pitchers are going to get significantly larger. Let me see if I can go in a little bit there. But yeah, you can see those are really cool pitchers. I really like this plant. And it's done a really good job of growing. It's continuing to grow. Like I said, there's a new one right here that's coming in. It's not opened yet. Looks like it has a little bit longer before it opens. We still have the new growth coming out the top. So far, every one of these has produced a pitcher. This is the most recent one to grow here that hasn't produced a pitcher yet, but you can see it's definitely looking like it's going to be producing a pitcher before too long once that other one gets done growing. So far this one has done really well. It's been really healthy. And yeah, so that's kind of the update on these plants. Let's go ahead and I'm going to get my camera on the tripod here, and then we will repot these guys into their new homes and take a look and see how they look. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and bring these over here and get these repotted. I've got this sphagnum moss here that's been soaking in some distilled water, so it's pretty much ready to go. It's nice and wet and saturated with water, so we'll be using this. So let's go ahead and start with the Veitchii here. Let's see if we can get this guy out of its little pot here. I have not, this came with everything to repot these guys when I got them from Predatory Plants. I haven't done anything with them, so since I've received them from Predatory Plants, it came with the little planters, and it came with some sphagnum moss, and they were just the rooted plants. But then I repotted them at that time, so now this is the first time I'm actually doing an official repot. So yeah, here we go. Let's go ahead. Sometimes this is not much fun, getting this off of the roots, because it kind of gets compact. I'm gonna move this over for you guys here, and let's start. This is one of my least favorite things to do, is to try to get roots out of a sphagnum moss mix, because the sphagnum moss makes it really, really difficult sometimes to get roots off. Getting it out of peat moss is usually fine. You can just kind of dump it in some water and the roots kind of come right out of peat moss, but it's a totally different story when we're talking about getting it out of sphagnum moss here. So let's see. There's the roots are starting to show. You can see the black roots right there. Try to get as much of this pulled out of here without disturbing the root system too much. It's virtually impossible to get these all off without pulling a little bit of the roots. So don't be too hard on yourself if you're unwrapping one of these guys and you rip a couple of the roots, because honestly, I've never done this without having a little bit of root loss. I'm not sure it's completely possible, but let's go ahead and keep working on this here. Honestly, it just kind of requires a little bit of patience. Trying real hard not to rip off all the roots. I think I'm probably going to leave it about there, because we want to leave as much of these roots intact on that as possible. You can see the roots right there. You can see these Nepenthes don't have major big root systems. So I've seen some with them, but usually the smaller Nepenthes like this, they don't have big, huge root systems, which is kind of nice because it's easy to wrap them. A lot different than like a Venus Flytrap, who have really long, deep roots. But also you can see, obviously, when I put this in the pot over here, I don't really need it to go super deep because the root system doesn't go down super far. So that's why I don't mind having that peat moss in the bottom there. But let's go ahead and get this going here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some peat moss or some sphagnum moss here, and we're just going to wrap this guy up nice and tight, about up to the rhizome there. Make sure to get all the roots. To get it kind of almost like a ball. Here, this. Okay, then here. Bring this up just a little bit higher. Go, make a little bit of a hole there. We're gonna go ahead and put this guy right in like that. Okay. Now we're gonna fill this in. Now we're going to get going on the Spectabilis Platychila here. Alright, so let's get this guy out of his planter. Here, this one's a little tricky because it's a little more full. There we go. All right. So there we go, guys. They are repotted and are good to go. So now they'll hopefully grow a little bit bigger now that they got a little more room to grow with their roots, and hopefully they'll really start to take off a little more now. But I'll keep giving you guys updates on these plants here, let you know how they're doing, show you how big the pitchers are getting, because I'm really hoping that the pitchers will really start to grow on these plants. I'm really excited about these ones. But thanks again so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Again, don't forget to like, subscribe, all that stuff, comment, all that stuff really helps me, and thank you again so much for supporting me. But yeah, so I hope to catch you guys again on the next video. Have a good one. Bye.